Welcome in to a special edition live stream. Gonna get the boys up in just a second. Had a quick ad read here up at the top. As always, if you are new around here, I'm Barnes on Bama. Obviously, we got the Waaaay Offsides guys and Way Off Base. Gonna be joining me for the live stream today. We're gonna talk all things Alabama football since we have just over a week away before first kick. But wanted to make sure you guys had seen it. J&J Apparel was nice enough to send me their home field matchups shirt for this season. Really cool. They did a lot of matchbooks and stuff. Really cool, obviously, back design. This is what you got on the front. If you're interested, the link to that should be down in the notes. If it's not, I'll add it and put it in the comments. But really appreciate J&J Apparel for sponsoring the show. And thank you so much to those. But don't want to waste too much time. I want to get everybody in here. So everybody, if y'all are not familiar, we got Jeff and Cotton from the Waaaay Offsides channel, and they got Way Off Base, their new baseball channel with EJ.
That's what's up.
So excited to have everybody join. We're going to talk some Alabama football today. Obviously, I know I had somebody already ask me, like, why am I talking football, not basketball? It's like nothing has happened. Nothing has happened in Alabama basketball. I don't know how often. Nate getting married is the only thing that's happened in the last month.
Yeah, like they announced do a show on that. Sorry,
it's August, man.
Like they announced the schedule. I mean, I'll talk about it if something happens, but I don't need to talk about them going to their boot camp they go to every year. Nothing. I'll let you know when something important happens, but nothing has happened. So
plenty of hoops coming.
Yeah, we're talking about football because that's what we've got in front of us. Super excited to be talking Bama football today. I guess we'll kind of start here up at the top with the unfortunate injury news we got. We got some good news and I guess some semi-good news and then some bad news on the injury front. Both in the secondary. You potentially lose a safety in the surgery he's going to have with Kane, and then you're getting the other one back. What are you guys' thoughts on the injury front and your freshmen that we've lost now? I'm not one that looks at Ballou and says, I think a lot of people start looking at strength and conditioning immediately when you have some injuries. I think it comes with the game of football. There's a physicality that comes with it, and somebody's going to get injured. If nobody's getting injured, I'm actually kind of questioning what you're doing. There's a law of diminishing returns in my mind. You don't want to get everybody injured, but somebody's probably going to. What is y'all's kind of thoughts on that?
We're big fans of the Miller's Edge, and Christian Miller has gone to bat for Coach Ballou a lot. And if Christian Miller is going to go to bat for Coach Ballou, then I'm going to believe Christian Miller. I'm inclined to believe Christian Miller, and I agree with what you said, Owen. Jeff said it before over on the channel. If people aren't getting hurt, what are we what's happening? There has to be a certain level of physicality in football. It's part of the game, and it is up to a good coach to manage those things. They're planned for, it's just part of it. As in terms of Jaira Edwards himself, I don't think it's a huge hit. I hate it because he was having a really good fall camp. And from every inclination I have is this isn't a season ending thing. He's going to be back at some point in time. But when we start looking at contributing freshmen, I think he probably had the toughest route to get on the field. At that safety. So it's not a massive, you've got plenty of guys back there who can step up. Ivan Taylor is a guy that a lot of people have talked about. Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. There's a lot of bodies back there in that secondary. So you don't want to see a guy with that who's got that much hype, that much smoke around him go down. But it could have been worse.
Absolutely. I think the fact that he's your 5-star is, and you start hearing good things about him, is as much of, it's almost a hit to your ego more than it is actually a problem in the secondary. It's we've got guys. What were you saying, Jeff?
Well, Kat made a great point over in the chat. These freshmen hadn't gotten hit like this probably in ever. I mean, you figure a lot of these guys are coming in out of high school where they're faster and better than everybody else, and they're probably not getting blown up every practice like this. And a lot of these guys are grown men colliding. A lot of these guys are grown men. They're getting hit by big boys now. So great point, Kat. A lot of these guys are high school bodies still getting blown up on an everyday basis in practice. I mean, a real physical camp they ran this year. So
yeah,
that's a great point on the freshmen. And then some of these other injuries are just like I was texting with Cotton earlier. They're football injuries. It's not like something crazy like he fell down the stairs or, he's in a car accident or he got shot or, something crazy like that, I mean, it's happened before. Lorenzo Diamond many years ago
with one right now.
I mean, seriously. So
chicken.
So, I mean, there could have been a number of crazy things. So at least they're happening on the field. They're football injuries, getting rolled up from behind. It sucks, but it's a football injury. It happens to everybody. It's happened to the best of them. We lost Jalen Waddle that year. Same deal. So it's at least they're football related and they're not just some freaky thing like he slipped in the kitchen and cracked his collarbone, when he fell or something like that. They're on the field. They're happening on the field.
I will say, can I piggyback off of that really quick, Owen?
Of course.
Yeah, I will say, just to play like devil's advocate here, I think some of the concern is because it's so reminiscent to what happened last fall camp. There were a lot of injuries last fall camp. Mm-hmm. And so fans are seeing that trend again. And there's maybe the expectation that it's going to go the same way it did last season because it's something we talk about the offensive line a lot, how bad it was in 2025. We talk about Ty Simpson's kind of dip mid-season. But a lot of that was attributed to injury. And some of those injuries happened preseason. So I understand fans being worried about it. But look, if it was Sedarian Morgan who went down, who I think Alabama's going to need now that I'm sure you're going to get to the Noah Rogers updates, but Noah Rogers isn't going to start the season for Alabama. You're going to potentially need that kid. So if it was him that went down, I would be a little more concerned. Don't want to see anybody get hurt, but I mean, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and the other one that I was hinting at is obviously with Jordan Edmonds. He's posting like, "Hey, back soon." Obviously, is his definition of soon the same as ours? Maybe. We're not exactly sure because he didn't say when. But in my mind, it's also just that room. Like, if there was a room on the team that you think we could survive an injury, it's that one, right? Because like y'all were talking about Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., he's a guy who, seems to find the ball, whether it be forced fumbles, interceptions, like he makes a play on the ball every single time. And, he was going to struggle to see the field. Ivan Taylor, another guy, like there's plenty of these guys that are going to struggle to see the field because you have so many set starters in that defensive backs room that have been so good for so long that it's a huge deal. You don't want to see anybody get hurt at the end of the day.
I think with Jairus specifically, the most likely place you're going to feel an impact is going to be special teams, potentially. And there are other guys who are going to be able to step up. If Jordan Edmonds gets back, he's a guy that could step up. Zion Gibson, who Alabama brought in this last class out of Gadsden, he's a guy that could step in. Heck, Zay Griffin could kind of step up in special teams. So again, like you said, Owen, it's not a ideal situation. There are certainly injuries that matter much more than Jairus right now. Obviously, I think the biggest one would be AK Deer, in my opinion. But Jeremiah Beeman is not. He wasn't going to be kind of one of the starting guys on that line, but he was going to be certainly a pretty significant rotation piece. And so that's a bigger one, in my opinion, than Jair Edwards.
Yeah, I would argue AK Deer, Beeman, and Rogers are all probably bigger than Jair Edwards, realistically. Yeah. I will also say, and I know you mentioned like some people were almost getting kind of gun shy, I guess, from last season.
Sure.
There's also kind of a phenomenon that I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it, but like when you get a car for the first time, like, I just, you buy a Sierra, it's like now you just see Sierras everywhere.
Yes.
It's like if you're looking for people are acting like we got 30 guys injured. There's like 6.
Yeah.
It's 6 more than you want it to be.
Hey,
but
saving that guy's injured all the time in camp. So
like it's 6 more than you want it to be, but it's still 6.
It's football. Everybody's gonna get banged up.
Only it's 6, 7, like 8. Like there's a few guys.
I see what you did there.
There's only a few guys that are injured, so in my mind, I think that's the big one to me. And you mentioned somebody, Cotton, that I actually want to talk about, and I think obviously the quarterback announcement is going to make a lot to do with it. Has Darian Morgan gone under the radar this offseason, like more than you would generally expect a 5-star receiver? Like Ryan Williams, I feel like was in people. Obviously, his recruitment was a little bit more pomp and circumstance. But Ryan Williams, you heard about so often in the lead up to that season that you felt like if he didn't have a big season, it was going to be a letdown. I feel like people outside of Alabama fans are really even talking about Sedarian Morgan. And it's crazy to me because he's 6'4" and has the catch radius of everything.
Very deep room.
Yeah. And that's why, Jeff, because last year, Lottie Brooks was the talk of fall camp last year. Everybody heard the name Lottie Brooks, Lotsier Brooks, over and over and over again going into the season. Lottie was the guy. And but yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of hum around Sedarian Morgan. Personally, I like that. But I think it's also because, to Jeff's point, you've got Rico Scott, you've got Derek Meadows, right? Tyler Henderson, I think, had a pretty good fall camp, if I remember correctly. And so, maybe it's just a matter of there just being so many guys to look at. Everybody, the expectation is that Sedarian. You look at the kid; he looks like he's been in the program for a couple of years already. He looks like he could be a starting wide receiver somewhere else. God forbid. He's going to be very. He's going to be very. Yeah, he's going to be very significant at some point in time in the season, and possibly early.
Yeah, I look at him as your probably day one wide receiver 4 competing for the wide receiver 3 spot.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I think realistically that's like where you would have to put him if you were, trotting out a depth chart today. Like he's probably wide receiver 4, and I think there's especially with Noah Rogers' injury, depending on how long he's going to be out. Obviously, you've seen him get back to practice, but what does that really mean? And
nothing.
Like, does that really mean much, right? Like until he gets back into full playing shape, in my mind, Sedarian Morgan has a lot of room to grow at that point and to be, your wide receiver 3. And something that he has that I guess only Derek Meadows can boast as well is size. You can't, it's the one thing that you can't coach, right? You're either that tall or you're not. And it's one of those things that in my mind, that's going to get him on the field as much as anything else. Because I think our offense, benefits because you saw what we were able to do. Obviously Derek Meadows was limited before he got the concussion and the massive hit and some of the throws and stuff, but how we used him in certain moments with that additional size, it seemed pretty clear that Grubb and DeBoer like having that bigger target to kind of take the top off the defense or do specific things with.
No, yeah, you're absolutely. Yeah, well, not even just red zone, but you're right, red zone for sure, Jeff. But it's interesting to me because I feel like one of these guys that we're talking about isn't going to get the opportunities that we hope they get. Sedarian Morgan, especially when Noah Rogers does get back. Sedarian Morgan, Rico Scott, or Derek Meadows. Rico Scott is interesting to me because Alabama went and played ball to get him back out of the transfer portal. You don't do that, in my opinion, if you don't have a plan for the kid. And Rico Scott, just my opinion, Rico Scott had some moments last year, especially in that FSU game, where he looked very, very physical. He's not the biggest dude. He's not Sedarian Morgan or obviously Derek Meadows. But another factor that goes into how much will they play Derek Meadows is going to be how they're going to utilize the tight ends. Because Alabama's got a freakishly large tight end room, and we all know that they love throwing to these tight ends. But are they going to focus more on using the tight ends in line this year as opposed to receiving and help out that offensive line early? So I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to read what's going to happen. My question to you guys, EJ, Jeff, Owen, would be if you had to pick the 3, obviously you're going to go Ryan Coleman Williams, Lotsier Brooks, right? Who's going to be number 3 with Keelan Russell? Does Keelan Russell change who number 3 is?
I'm going to let you take this one, EJ.
I put you on the spot. GJ's like, I've just been
it doesn't change it for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I mean, between. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Owen.
No. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
AJ.
All right. Yeah, I was saying, for me, I think it's going to be between Derek Meadows and CD Morgan, man. I don't think I think it's going to be a tight race between those two because you want to have a large guy out there, a big physical attacker wide receiver because Ryan and Lottie are obviously both smaller, quicker guys that you want to get the ball out and quick and make a play to. But you want to have a big guy out there to go up and make you a play when you need a 50-50 ball in the field. And I think Meadows and Sid are going to definitely compete for that wide receiver 3 spot.
I like Meadows there.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
I like Meadows there. I've been
for-
on this kid for a while.
For me, it's Morgan. And maybe that's just me being comfortable with the upside and the physicality. I think that he's a unique mix of height but strength. Like he's got a much more physicality to him than Meadows. Obviously, I need to see his blocking ability, like in the run game and stuff. But like he has
that'll have a lot to say.
You know what I'm saying? Like he has the body to be a good blocker as well because of the physicality that he comes with. So like to me, it's Morgan more for the body than it is for the height. I know Meadows has technically got like an extra inch on him, but like inch or two on him. But Sedarian Morgan's that unique blend of like speed, physicality, height. That for me, like he's the guy who you're putting at the 3. Like the Rico one is a really interesting one to me, and I'm glad you brought him up. Is when I talked to Clint Lamb last year in the lead up to the season, like that was Clint's breakout guy. Rico was his it was his pick to like this guy's gonna go crazy, and you definitely saw flashes of it at times. It was just somebody that really couldn't crack it for the large stretches. And then, like you said, like there were people that came after Rico, and we played ball to get him to stay at Alabama. And it was one that really surprised me, especially bringing in a guy like Sedarian Morgan, returning, when you bring in the guy like Noah Rogers, you bring in these other guys, like to me, I really questioned, like, does that speak more to we want depth in the room, or does that speak to like we really like what we have in Rico? Like it has to speak to something, right? Like because you don't go play ball to get a guy out of the transfer portal, for that reason, or, to keep him out of the transfer portal for that reason. That's really the question mark. But for me, I don't immediately attribute just because you're out of the transfer portal, that means you're automatically getting the minutes, because I've seen other instances where like we bring a guy in as a transfer and then he just like doesn't play. Obviously, it's a little bit different because we're keeping him from entering. So we already know what we have in him versus like when you bring in somebody new, sometimes they just aren't what you thought they were.
Yeah.
You just miss.
It goes both ways too. I think Dre Washington's a classic case of that last year.
I think he's a great example of kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like you bring him in
and vice versa.
Yeah, it's like you bring somebody in, you're like, oh, like you must have brought him in to play. And it's like, no.
I can't play. Oh, well, geez.
Well, I think they one thing they wanted to do with the wide receiving room this year is get more physical. Oh, and you brought up run blocking, right? That's something that they wanted to do. I think that was the idea of going and getting Derek Nix. And to me, the highlights, and there aren't a lot of them, that I saw Rico Scott last year, he looks like a physical football player. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he looks like a physical football player. And so maybe that's what motivated Alabama to go get him, is, kind of a physical tone setter in the room. I don't know, but I just feel like
I could see that.
Like, I want to say it without saying it, but I'm just going to say it. Rico could have gone somewhere and gotten paid, right? And for the entire whole Alabama's broke crowd, if Alabama's not going to overpay a guy like Rico Scott, they had to promise him something, because you don't enter the portal if you're not going to leave. So what was it? Did they pay him more? Did they renegotiate a contract with him? Or did they say, hey, look, here's what we're going to do with you in the offense next year? And he liked what he heard. That's just kind of what I'm basing that off of. So I feel like he'll be a pretty significant contributor. But I do agree with EJ and Jeff in that size that Derek Meadows is probably going to be primarily at first that number 3 until Noah Rogers is healthy. But I could see it being Sedarian Morgan. Either way, I think all these guys are going to get plenty of opportunities. Somebody's just going to draw the short straw. and not get as many.
Well, somebody will get dinged up too throughout the season. You're gonna have guys get dinged up, maybe miss a game or two with a hamstring or a concussion or something. I mean, guys are gonna get dinged up all year. When all the dust settles and the year shakes out, we're gonna need 5 or 6 of these guys in a regular rotation.
Yeah, heck, Lottie's in a no contact jersey right now. He hasn't been practicing a lot this fall, so they're already a little. They're not 100% out there.
So yes, so we talked about our receivers. I guess we buried the lead a little bit. 20 minutes into the show, we're just now going to talk about Alabama named a starting quarterback. It's funny to me. People try to pretend that they broke the news, but the university, said, "Hey, we're."
I actually broke that news. Kalen DeBoer called me and told me, and I'm the one that broke it.
Actually, when they signed him, I said, eventually this guy's going to be the starting quarterback. So technically I broke the news the day they signed him.
It's just funny to me because they said hey, we're going to wait till
he just said I'm out.
I think he's having connection problems. He dropped a second ago.
He's got the Bill syndrome.
Basically, they say, hey, we're going to go through the scrimmages, then we're going to name a guy. And I will say I like that they're doing it in a better way. I think this is, whatever you want to – I appreciate it, Kat. Whatever you want to talk about, it's something that I do like that DeBoer's doing that Saban didn't do is he's putting his, emphasis behind his guy, and he's naming his guy and saying, this is who we're going with. He is the guy who we're going to ride with. I think, when I was in college, I'm in college 2015 – Blake Barnett starts against USC, and then Jalen ends up winning the job. And it's such a wide spiral of hey, who's going to be the starter? And there was plenty of games that we had some stuff like that in the early 2010s where it's who is the starter? Blake Sims or Jake Coker, right? There was a lot of these battles that we can kind of talk about. I appreciate that Kalen DeBoer let the battle play out during camp, let the battle play out during the scrimmages, and then just names his guy. This is who we're going to go with. And so I don't really know, what's y'all's kind of thoughts on that? In my opinion, I think that this more unites the room and more unites the actual football team around hey, this is our starting quarterback. So it's not kind of wishy-washy of oh, we liked the guy we started, but this other guy's better, right? I feel like you're just putting your guy in a bad position when you do something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's been KR12 since day one. I think this was a legit quarterback competition though. But if you sat DeBoer down and he had to be completely honest and say, who have you wanted to be the quarterback? He would have said Russell, I think. That's the golden goose. That's the guy. That's his QB1, the most important position on the field is QB1. And that was his guy all along. And he's not going to wait 3 years to get to year 4 to start his quarterback. If he's there and ready to play, if we're going to go 8-4 or 9-3, it's got to be with Russell playing. We can't lose 3 games with Russell sitting on the bench. That's not going to fly. And so, DeBoer is this is my guy. This is who I envisioned running this offense all along when I got here and first talked to this kid. So he's here. He's ready. Let's go.
Yeah. In my mind, this is a situation where, it's really funny because when you Film Guy Network, that's his breakdown of Keelan Russell. I think we all tweeted it out. If you have not seen it,
it's
incredible breakdown. As somebody who has not known as many of the X's and O's on the football side, it's done a lot to teach me, the different routes and everything that, you need to know the quarterbacks and, whether it's turning and the bends and he's really, really good at what he does. Highly recommend watching it if you haven't already.
Poor walk-on number 23. He was I ain't trying to crack on nobody, but you're not going to be throwing to this guy in a game. This guy's probably going to be more aware
I had to put in the comments so MJ Churgwin's not cracking cracking with the ones. My favorite is later on in the video, he throws the touchdown to me. He goes, I didn't know you had it like that.
Hey, a little piggyback off of that, Owen. We're going to break it here. Thursday, we're actually going to be recording with Brooks. And so our folks can
super pumped about that.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. Got him coming this week. We're recording with Landon Tingwall again this week. Should be a pretty. It's the star-studded week. We got Owen, Brooks Austin, and Landon Tingwall. I mean,
if y'all missed last time we had Landon on,
one of those is not like the other.
It's like Clint 2.0. I mean, it's like he and Clint could sit in a room for hours and talk techniques. Landon's fantastic, talking techniques and things like that. Stuff I didn't even know. So.
Yeah. But to answer your question, Owen, I honestly felt like it went on a little bit too long. I think my understanding is that first scrimmage really kind of started the lean towards Keelan. I think all of us as fans knew the ceiling with Keelan after A-Day. I think he did too. There's just some things you gotta make sure he's up to speed on. And Brooks points some of those things out, taking necessary contact. The one touchdown he threw to oh my goodness, number 7 last year,
Cole Adams.
Yeah, the one touchdown he threw to Cole Adams in the ULM game. He had 2 other options before him in the progression, and he missed all. He didn't throw to any of them. So there were some things I think the coaching staff wanted to make sure. And then my understanding is in that second scrimmage, he actually threw the lone interception. But I think there's some external factors. I talk about this on the channel a lot. In terms of this offensive line, getting it to gel and getting it up to speed, I think it's going to take some live game reps. And Keelan Russell, it's not about who really, I don't think it was about who was the better quarterback between the two, because I believe DeBoer when he says they could win with either one of the guys. I think Keelan Russell is the better quarterback for this specific team, because while that offensive line is gelling and galvanizing and learning who they are and how to play together, communication, Keelan Russell can cover up a lot of inefficiencies along that offensive line. I think it gives you the best option there.
Well, and I got a feeling we're going to need Austin at some point in the year. Austin's going to play a role at some point. It may not be like the Jalen Hurts where he comes in the second half of the SEC championship game and wins the game, but I think at some point along this year, Austin Mack's we're going to need Austin Mack in some capacity.
I have a real soft spot for Jalen because me and him had a bunch of classes together in college, and me and my dad were at that game, the SEC championship game you're talking about in 18 that he came in and wins it after Tua gets rolled up on his ankle. Oh, yeah. I think Austin Mack, if nothing else, I think you absolutely have to respect the guy because he knew that Kalen DeBoer brought in a consensus top 3 player in the entire country.
Yeah.
Right. He knew that that Kalen DeBoer brought this guy in. Obviously, we were called 3-star U, flipping him from SMU before he wins the Elite 11 MVP and the Gatorade National Player of the Year. And then, finishes as one of the top recruits and the top per 24/7, the number 1 overall recruit in Alabama history.
Which is wild.
Austin's no fool.
Which is an insane recruit Alabama lands, and Austin stayed because Austin, people were like, "Oh, Austin's going to find a spot this year." Had he left, he would have found a spot. Like he could have probably, he probably could have went to Michigan State and been their starting quarterback this year.
Yeah, especially with the amount of money, dude. With the amount of money folks were offering these quarterbacks this transfer portal cycle. Or reportedly off. I mean, there's reports that Darian Mensah got like 7 to 10 mil in there, somewhere, something like that, man. Like he could have gone and gotten paid for sure, and he stuck it out. That's why my first reaction to the news of Russell was to make sure Matt gets his roses too, because he could have easily seen the writing on the wall and jumped ship. Absolutely could have.
I mean, Mac knows this is a business. He's no fool. And he wanted to go compete against the best. I mean, he knew who Keelan Russell was when they signed him, so he's known all along that he was going to have to separate himself, and he's been in this offense for 4 years and has not separated himself yet from Keelan. That tells you all you need to know. That he couldn't separate, and if they're anywhere close, you got to go with Keelan.
So something I will admit, and I've told my people that are loyal subscribers here, that on the basketball front, I pay attention to all the recruits because there's so few of them that I'm able to.
Yeah.
But on the football side, I do not watch the high school tape. I'm going to call myself out. I don't watch the high school tape of all the Alabama guys. Once they get in a crimson jersey, I'll see what they look like. But I don't go digging through the huddle film and see what these guys look like. I'm going to leave that to Clint Lamb and the people that know what they're looking at, because I'm just going to see somebody that looks impressive against a bunch of scrubs.
Hey, I'll save myself 12 hours and I'll listen to Clint's show and that'll tell me everything I need to know.
Exactly. Like that's not who I am, and I'll admit it. But the reason I say that, Keelan Russell, his high school film that Brooks broke down, I know we talked about it just a little bit ago, but Brooks at the tail end of that show, if y'all did not watch it, obviously he broke down his Alabama throws, but then he broke down some of his high school throws. That was some of the most insane athleticism and like skill inside a pocket from a high school quarterback that I think I've ever seen.
Dude, the one throw where he's falling forward and flicks it right before he hits the ground.
The one that he's getting hit and he's got somebody hanging off his body.
Yeah,
and he has the arm strength. He threw it like 60 yards.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that's what makes him so phenomenal. It's those intangibles, but then his fundamentals. And Brooks mentioned this, and it's something that I don't think people who kind of scouted Keelan Russell talked about enough. His fundamentals are about as clean as you're going to get for as young of a quarterback as he is. Fundamentally, he is absolutely sound. Everything he does in terms of climbing the pocket, right? Like he knows to get north in the pocket. His release, the time between kind of that wind up and that release it's so rapid, and that's what creates that velocity that you're talking about, Owen. It's off the charts, man.
Quick release.
Yeah, it's off the charts.
And the other thing that to me is the thing that I think a lot of people are overplaying. Some people are underplaying and some people are overplaying. And I think the real answer is somewhere in the middle is his running ability. Some people look at it, his running ability. Oh, I don't want another Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. He's
not Jalen Milroe. Like, let me be the first to tell you, if you haven't listened to anyone else, he's not Jalen Milroe.
No.
These two should never be in the same sentence other than former Alabama quarterbacks.
Exactly, right? Like, that's not who he is. But it is a situation where he is a guy that if it gets to the point that he's my perfect type of runner. He is a runner that is going to keep his eyes downfield and is only going to run if it's I've got to because everyone's blanketed. But he's still good enough that when he makes that decision that now I'm going to run, he's deadly. Because when he also beat the guys at that corner, again, like 6A Texas high school football, if y'all are unaware, is crazy. Like those are all D1 guys he's going against. Like he's not going against a bunch of Jimmys and Joes. Like these are legit dudes he's playing against. And when when Brooks paused it and goes, "This is the angle." Like, did he win this angle? There's no way he should have won that angle. But again, this is a guy that was on a 4x100 state championship team.
I say he was a track star too.
Like this guy has got legit wheels. Yeah. And that's something that is funny because he's probably got as good of wheels as anybody on the team, but he's such a pocket quarterback that you don't, or he's so much more of I would call him more of an improviser than a pocket guy. But like, he's so much of a pocket guy that you don't really expect him to have the wheels that he has. And I think that's honestly as much as anything else that like, if you look at his film from last season, obviously there were a couple of design quarterback runs, but like outside of the design quarterback runs, I don't think that like the average defense would believe that he's as fast as he is because you assume the guy that's that fast is going to use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for him, it's like plan C. Like it's your like him, it's like way down at the bottom of like what you're
I don't even know it's that high.
But that's what you want. That's what you want. That was Jalen Milroe's problem. And I love Jalen Milroe, but that was his problem is plan A1 was to escape the pocket and get out of there or try to,
deep ball,
create something deep ball and then take a sack. You saw it on display last night. But now, again, no hate to Jalen Milroe. I absolutely love Jalen Milroe. I'm just being honest about what I saw when he was the quarterback.
Of course.
With Keelan, what's interesting, he draws a lot of comps to Bryce Young, and they're fair in terms of him being in the pocket and kind of navigating pressure in the pocket. But somebody did a comp to Aaron Rodgers, early Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's pretty spot on for Keelan Russell. And what makes him again, what Brooks pointed out, what we talked about just a second ago, what makes him different is despite he knows he can run, he knows he can outrun most people on that field, but he wants to stay in the pocket. He wants to, climb north. He wants to north and south, get up in that pocket. You're very rare. Now, I will say I noticed a lot on the snippets that we saw from him from fall camp. They were working on rolling him out. And then there was one video where he was rolling out to his left and threw the ball back across his body. Big no-no in the middle of the field. But those things are going to come with time. Yeah, I was like, oh wow. Gonna come with, he completed the pass.
Can you edit that part out?
Well, and keep in mind, I guess for me, to me, it feels like he knows he's really fast and knows he can outrun him, but he also knows his arm is even, his ability to throw the ball is even better. And I think, he also has been coached at a decently high level of, hey, if you run, you're eventually going to get hit.
Yeah.
If you're trying to play this game, Brooks talked about it. Obviously there was the one bad hit that he took, but if you're going to play this game for a while, not getting hit a lot is kind of the name of the game. Yeah, you can get hit, but let's not. If you're going to play a lot of football, let's not get hit.
Try to avoid that.
Seriously. Yeah.
And so I guess for me, it's that, but it's also, it's just so unique to have somebody that has that pocket awareness like you're talking about. For me, I will also say the rolling out. I'm curious if that's something that we've been putting into the camp because I know that manipulation of some of those pockets is something that they like to do early if you're not too sure about the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm curious if some of those pocket movement, rollouts, that type stuff is putting things in place that, hey, we think we like the offensive line, but we might want to put some stuff in place just in case. We like who we got back there. But we might want to know what's going on.
Either way, we're really blessed to have this kid. I don't know how he went under the radar recruiting for so long. It wasn't until Alabama kind of jumped in there that people started putting eyes on this kid and going, oh, wow. But it happens, I guess. But Keelan Russell, again, I think with him and Austin Mack, my final guess statement on this is that it wasn't necessarily who's the better quarterback. It was who's the better quarterback for this squad. And with this offensive line, a lot of people, when we say that the offensive line is going to be better in 2026, that doesn't mean it's going to be good. That doesn't mean it's going to be elite. It's going to be better. And it's going to take time to get to a point to where Alabama can trust that offensive line. And Keelan Russell is the guy, in my opinion, who can cover that up.
Yeah. QB1 right here is like half the piece of the biggest puzzle. The second half is the trenches. And it's football 101. If your offensive line is tough.
I will say, if I can go over here real quick.
Of course.
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. Bad storms in this area, man. We've had them past few hours. But, I think the biggest thing that people got to learn with this offensive line group especially is that these guys have not taken many snaps together. And I think the best part about that being is we get an easy – I wouldn't say easy first 4 to 5 game stretch because South Carolina always gives us a tough. But those first 3 games – and I especially want to see it coming in at FSU. There'll still be some hiccups, but it's better that we're getting the start to this schedule that we're getting so that they can have time to gel together instead of just throwing us into the fire, playing at Georgia early. Because, Auburn's getting a brand new Florida team that nobody knows about. Tennessee's getting Texas early. I mean, we kind of got lucky with what we got this year. And I think that's another big reason why Keelan, obviously very talented. Obviously, he's going to be an amazing quarterback. But I think the best shot was going with Keelan, sorry. We're all still in that one. Best shot with going with Keelan is you're starting him out early and you're going to get the hiccups out the way early instead of throwing him out next year with only 1 year possibly that he could stay. And next year, you're going to have teams – the schedule's going to flip. You're going to have teams like Texas, probably going to go back to Oklahoma. We're going to play Florida next year. I mean, this schedule is going to completely flip next year, and I think it's going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, that's well said. But you get these youngins that have a whole season under their belt, you know, with their starting quarterback. So That's why I allude to the 2027 season a lot. I know everybody wants a championship this year. I do too. But realistically, if I had to put money on this year or next year, I'm going to take next year.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I saw somebody throw something in the chat about it, and I don't want to belabor this just because it's everywhere right now. But while we were recording, the SEC just put out this statement. After the Monday evening video conference, college athletes are not former professional athletes have been at the heart of conference. Individuals who choose to leave athletics, sign professional playing contracts, and compete professionally should not then be permitted to return to college competition. Allowing that to occur will blur the line between college and professional sports, create significant competitive equity concerns, and reduce opportunities for high school and current college athletes. College sports are for college athletes. Current confusion around national eligibility standards emphasizes the need to advance the Protect College Sports Act. I don't really care about the Protect College Sports Act. I mean, sure, if they get it passed, great. We'll see it when it passes. But, this calls into question, do we think that they make a stand with the LSUs of the world, having the guys there's now 2 guys that Lane's just come out and said, hey, if you're going to allow them, I'm going to get them.
No, I don't think they do. You have an opportunity right now to come out and say, we don't condone this. Do not do it. I don't know. I mean, what kind of legal arm does the SEC have in going to LSU and saying, no, these guys are not going to play for your football team this year? Do they have the legal arm to do that? Probably not, because then you could just go get an injuction from a judge.
They'll just go to that same judge.
You could, depending upon how the eligibility is placed, you could make an argument it's against SEC bylaws and make them forfeit SEC games, which means they are held out of the SEC championship. Depending upon how the law is written, you can't violate a TRO, right? That's the big question. Is this guy made eligible based on a TRO? If so, then there's not a whole lot you can do because you're going against an injunction. Mm-hmm. However, if it's not based on that and there's some other loophole that people are using, the SEC could make them ineligible for the SEC championship game. You can't stop the games from happening, but if you're ineligible for the SEC championship game, you at least remove the automatic qualifier opportunity for the playoff. I'm just thinking out loud as something that could be done. It's probably not going to do a whole lot. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's kind of word salad and doesn't say a whole lot. But it came out while we were talking. So just thought, why not throw it up there and see what you guys think?
What was the justification again behind giving the 2022 guys that extra year? Was it COVID?
No, the justification is they did the 5-5 rule. So moving forward, you have 5-5. So all the guys who just left are like, hey, why can't I get 5?
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, that's the whole justification. It's the same reason why I think a lot of people, Alabama included, removed redshirt from the title of these people on the depth charts and stuff, because officially, the redshirt thing doesn't matter. You got 5 years to play 5 years. So it doesn't really matter if you've redshirted or not. You got 5 years. But
they open up this one-time portal for any of these players that are coming back out of the NFL. They instantly go into this temporary portal, and then they're picked through just like everybody else.
I'm telling you, it's like they're moving one step forward and then 2 steps back, man. They were heading the right direction with the one time a year transfer, and then now it's just open for anybody that went pro and is coming
Anytime
back.
Local judges get involved of the city that the college is in, you're going to have these problems. Just like last year with Betty Yako, this is the same situation.
Yeah. No. My question is, why can't we enforce a cap? A legitimate cap? Why can't we enforce that? And then how many scholarship spaces does LSU have open?
Here's the problem. So there's two major problems, especially with the NIL front. With the NIL front, the scholarship doesn't matter. You can just have a booster pay for his scholarship. So it's effectively as many scholarships as you're willing to pay for.
Gotcha.
Right? That becomes the problem with the NIL front, right? You have as many scholarships as you have boosters willing to pay, because technically you could just make him a walk-on and have somebody pay for his stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought of it that way.
Because there's coaches that do that in basketball all the time, where it's like, oh, I need another spot. I'm just going to put my kid on walk-on status, and then just going to bring some other guy. And then, oh, my
Wow.
kid could,
Or they'll get a tennis scholarship and then also play football.
exactly,
Or
right? There's
they'll
plenty
get a
of ways
track
around it. So I
scholarship,
don't think the
but
scholarship
play
limit is
football.
going to matter even a little bit. Yeah, I highly doubt that comes into play at all. If something comes into play, the real question about enforceability, I think the big thing that makes this so difficult is it operates in all 50 states. And when it operates in all 50 states, the ability to govern, basically what happened is the NCAA for many years, we kind of operated under the assumption that the NCAA had some type of authority.
Yeah.
And when the veil was lifted, that the NCAA actually is just a body that you can take to court just like anybody else.
Yep.
It's no different than me and you. Like once that veil was lifted, that it's just a group of people. Now people realize, oh, like if I don't like it, I can just take it to court. like the veil got lifted, and because for the longest time, the NCAA, like when SMU gets the death penalty and all these things, like no school's ever going to get the death penalty again because they would just take it to court and win.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the reason why a lot of them are saying to protect College Sports Act and all these other things. Like, and I don't know what the right answer is. We're not trying to give what the answer is here on the show, but it's a situation that like, that's why a lot of people are saying Congress has to step in, or like other entities are going to have to step in, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to say, hey, this is enforceable, because now there's some codified law that we can speak to that the judges have to speak to, right? Because right now it's just whatever the bylaws are. And as we kind of determined in the Bediako case and in others, the NCAA makes it difficult with how they establish the laws. When you have the guy from, what was it, the tight end from McCormick from Miami that played like 12 years or however. He was in college football, like
friggin' embarrassment.
It was like 8 years.
8
I
years.
think it was legitimately
7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like most of the 2010s, he was in college football.
Yeah.
Like it's a situation, like when you have things like that happen, and like whether they're
He
medical,
was on the last
like,
video college football video game.
Exactly, right? Like those are the things where, because things like that happen, and some people argue, oh, like he got injured or this or that, and like what's happening is they're letting their emotions dictate what they should do. And so then when they let their emotions get into play, now you're like, oh, like we should just let this guy play again. But by them letting him play, that's effectively saying anyone that has a case similar to that has to be able to play, or else it's discrimination.
Yeah.
Like once you do it once, you have to do it all the time.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like Saban knew this was going to happen. And everybody laughed him out of the room.
Yeah. Your chat is suggesting that we go kidnap Mike the Tiger. I don't know how that's a solution.
I've seen Mike. I'm not going anywhere near Mike the Tiger. I like my life.
Yeah,
all my limbs.
That's a no from me, dog.
Yeah,
I have seen Mike. He's a real big cat, and I'm glad there's a double fence.
Not a house cat.
Ribbon Foster, take me out for drinks. We have enough. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Fun trivia question: Mike's enclosure. Do you know who it's named after?
No,
I do, but I can't. I couldn't tell you, but I know the story, but I couldn't tell you the name.
It's Nick and Terry Saban.
Really?
It is. They paid for
it.
Yeah,
that's right.
I did not know that.
So if you go on to LSU's campus and go check out Mike the Tiger, it is. I forget what the official enclosure is called now, but it has Saban's name on it. I think
that's a nice enclosure, man. They did that. They did cool. Mike right. Mike got a nice little spot over there.
Cool. It's pretty cool. It's not apropos of me to say, but they have a really cool place. I don't know if y'all been to Night Game at Tiger Stadium, but it's actually dope.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
We usually win when I'm there, so I'm super excited about it. But it's a lot of fun.
When we first started, we did a video with Cruz, Oxenrider, and he was like, Jeff and I were talking recruiting, and Cruz was like, I feel fine if Alabama gets the last visit unless they tack on LSU afterwards. He was like, that place, if they go to a night visit at LSU, it's over. He's like, it's game over. It's game over.
It's tough. I got family down there, and it's
Roll Tide, Stacy.
What's going on?
Roll Tide, Stacy.
Tough place to win a game. I was actually at the Sean Alexander game when he went for 300 yards in Baton Rouge that night. Got rocks thrown at me after the game, but that's okay.
I was at the 29-0 shutout with Tua in Baton Rouge, and then me and my fiance were there 2 years ago. funny enough, both times I've been there, it's been kind of blowouts.
You should go
Happens
this
a lot
year. You should go this year.
at Bryant Denny West.
for sure. Get an extra measure in there.
Yeah, you need to go this year, sir.
Yeah, it's the week after my wedding, and I don't know that I can go.
That's fair.
Who doesn't?
She didn't just meet you, Owen. Okay, this is
just say there's an extra.
This is one of those
there
going.
with me
You've
last
known all
time.
along what you were getting
No, I
into.
mean, she was
here.
there last time. She had to try this. She had a torn ACL, and we climbed to the top of Tiger Stadium. So, like,
That's a climb because that place is steep like this. That's why it's so loud because that sound goes like this and then goes down.
Yeah.
You know, Bryant Denny's so quiet because it's flat and the sound just goes straight out.
yeah,
At Tiger Stadium, the sound comes across and hits and goes back down onto the field.
it was the saddest rendition of Colin Baton Rouge I've ever seen. Last 2 years ago, the Bama fans is who sang it. Like there was nobody there by the fourth quarter. Like it was empty.
Bless their hearts.
That's why I started playing that song like right before kickoff because everybody's in there.
Yeah, it was real sad.
Shout out to Daily Joy, by the way.
So I guess
Dude, I know.
I swear, y'all are
You
killing
never
me.
let me down, Lance.
Y'all are killing me.
Lance's
If
ridiculous.
I pull up, let's see. I'm gonna pull up the schedule,
All right.
and so in our first, let's get this right. So our first 5 games, we got Eastern Carolina at Kentucky, home against Florida State, home against Carolina, at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
We better be 5-0 heading to Athens.
We better be 5-0.
We better be
and-
5-0 headed to Athens.
And then we better have been 5-0 without a scare.
Oof.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go on the road to Mississippi State and end up winning by 14, okay, or even
By a
South
scare,
Carolina is
no
going to give
single
you problems.
digits. I don't want to say like no scare, but no single digits. I
Hey,
think you
man.
should have double-digit wins to the first 5.
That road game in Starkville, Kamario Taylor's legit, dude. Don't count that dude
Man.
out. Man.
Oh,
South Carolina's
stupid
always giving us a
cowbells
fight.
ding-a-linging. I can't do it.
Yeah, in South Carolina, I do agree. I think
Until South Carolina can prove to me they have an offensive line to protect him, I know we have struggled at offensive line. I know like it's kind of the pot calling the kettle situation. South Carolina has struggled, and for me, like that's a big one. That like I just don't think that they have the offensive line. I know they did entirely retooled offensive line. I also just, as much as Nick Harbour is a freak and an insane college football 27 player, he's not a really good on the field college football player. Like he's a freak sprinter and really, really fun in video games, but his actual on field numbers are really not that good.
yeah.
And so it's kind of a situation that with South Carolina, like I think the idea of South Carolina is better than the reality of South Carolina.
Maybe, and I agree with you, but I do think Lenore Sellers, his legs can stress this new linebacker core, this young linebacker core.
Sure.
I think it can cause some stress for those guys. And I think as excited as I am about the potential of Luke Metz starting next to Caleb Woodson or QB Reese, or even if a guy like Zay Griffin gets in there, there's going to be some bumps along the way. And that kind of quarterback is the guy that can do it to us. And so
Hey,
that-
Stacey, Peak is health. He's not starting the year, but he probably
He'll
will
be ready
start
by
the Alabama game.
You can believe that.
Oh yeah, he'll
Oh, yeah, and Dylan
See,
Stewart, they'll both
Yeah.
be back for that Bama game.
Yeah,
Oh,
he'll be back.
Everybody will be back for the
100%,
Bama game
yeah.
against whoever.
they'll
Well-
bring Mr. Miyagi in there if they've got to.
Okay,
I
so-
think it was the same thing last year, wasn't it? I think Stewart was rumored to possibly miss the Bama game, and all of a sudden he got cleared.
Yeah, he played. Yeah,
Yeah.
Nobody misses the Bama game. Nobody.
Yeah.
Like, in
You
basketball,
know it's going to be the most
football, it's
watched game of the weekend.
Yeah, in basketball and football, it's a pretty much foregone conclusion. If you've got a guy that might be coming back, he's coming back for the Bama game.
Yeah.
I've seen it way too many
Believe
times.
that.
I will say, before we move on to the rest of the schedule, I think we're not talking a lot. You know, it's laughable when you think about it, but Kentucky, we don't know what Kentucky's going to be. This is their first coach in how many years? 15 years or a little less than it.
Something
I
like
mean,
that. Stoops was there a minute.
Has
Yeah, I
he really,
think it's
was he
15
really
years.
there that long?
He
9
was
or
there
10
forever.
years.
Golly.
He was there for a good minute.
10, 12 years. He was there for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think Kentucky's going to be any good. That's a tough game to go. I mean, any road game in the SEC, I think, is not a cakewalk unless we're playing in Baton Rouge.
Oh, for sure.
But anyway, I do think that game was going to be a good road test, but there's no way I think Kentucky has the horses to.
I think what gives
stay 4 quarters with us.
Yeah, I think what will give the board advantage is I believe that Will Stein was with Dan Lanning that year, but when they played Washington, I think that probably gives him a leg up on what possibly to expect. But it's still just, you never know what a new coach is going to do, especially if he's taking on the reins of a head coach and not just coordinating one side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you're going to want a new quarterback and a new offensive line to wet their whistle on the road in the SEC, it's probably Kentucky, right?
So maybe I'm jaded playing Mississippi State. I understand it's a tough place to play. It can be really, really loud. I was there when they were number one in the country. Dak Prescott versus Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Now we did have Derrick Henry, right? we did have one of the greatest college running backs of all time. That's that season.
For the record, that's the only high school film I've ever watched was Derrick Henry's, because I saw they ran for like 5,000 yards, and I was like, okay, I got to see some of this stuff.
You watch his 8th grade film when he's
the guys are like my son's size, and he's 240, and they're like the size of my son. My son's like 110, and he's just trucking everyone. Sorry, I mean, go on that side ramp.
But Derrick Henry did some things in Starkville that I still like.
That's my favorite game to go back and watch.
Like, he was beating corners with the best angle of all time, and he is just dusting these dudes.
And Danielson's like beside himself in the commentary. He's
like, he is dusting corners.
He has no idea what to say. Danielson doesn't. He was like, the guy at an angle right here. He just whips right through him. He was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, but they had like the best pursuit angles of all time. Like, Derrick Henry was one of those guys that was so sneaky fast at his size that like it was just so hard to understand how insanely fast he was. But I say that to say that like Starkville, like, do I think it could be very tight, first half? Yeah. But I'm of the mindset that if this team wants to compete at the level that they're capable of, and I'm with you. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's a title this season, but I do think that obviously playoff aspirations and hopefully winning some games in the playoff is well within reason for this team. Like, you have to be able to go into Starkville and win against a team that hired their fired head coach back as the defensive coordinator. Like, they're recycling coaches.
That's fair.
Hey, 100%, Chris. The Mississippi State versus Derrick Henry versus Dak Prescott was 1,000,000% in Starkville. I have photos. Like,
when State was the number one team, that was in Tuscaloosa.
They weren't number one, but it was Derrick Henry versus Dak Prescott.
Yeah, that's the game we're talking about. But when State was number one, that was in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna call you out because I was at that game.
One sec, I'll tell you what year it was.
The Derrick Henry game was 2015.
Yeah, 2015. Yeah, so 2015 was in, because that was my freshman year of college.
Yeah.
That one was
the
in
Jake Coker year.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a college. It wasn't number one. It was College Game Day was there, but it was like it was their first time hosting game day in like a long time because State never hosts it. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, not the number one year, but it was Dak versus Derrick. That's the easiest way for me to remember, because they have like a giant cowbell they have in the student section, and me and my dad have photos that there's like 4 people in the student section. They're only the people holding the cowbell because they've all left by the end of the game because like we just decimated them.
Yeah,
it was one of those like
game
day. It was one of those classic game day came for what should have been a big game, and then Alabama just dominated to a level that's like, is this a real game that's happening right now?
They used to happen a lot.
It used to be like, oh, we've hyped this game to no end, and then Alabama comes out and it's like, did they win by 40? Like, what happened here?
I will say Saban's last year, I had a buddy of mine. He was going to Mississippi State, and he got me into the student section. So I was like the only guy in a Bama polo over there in the student section. And they're just ringing the cowbells in my ears the whole entire time. And we're down to like the third quarter, Milrose's ready, running up the score. and I'll just grab one of their cowbells as they go on offense. I'll just go, where's it at now?
I love it.
The cowbell's a fun one. That back then they still gave like the physical tickets. Obviously, everything's on your phone now, but on the physical ticket it says no artificial noisemakers.
Yeah, I remember all that. Except for that.
Yeah, it's similar to my personal favorite Bryant Denny Stadium. Like, if you've never been to a game, is the Tennessee game. Right before the end of the Tennessee game, they have the official PSA. The university is a non-smoking campus. Like, they play it at the end of every game. It's like, 5 minutes to go in the game. It's like the university is a non-smoking campus. And in the Tennessee game, there's so much smoke in the stadium that you can't even see. You can't even
fireworks were going on.
You're like, been to college here. There's plenty of smoking going on here. Trust me.
If you're watching it, if it's a night game and you're watching it at home, it like obscures the camera.
Yeah,
it's
like, it looks like when the fireworks go off and all that smoke.
Yeah, it's
all
crazy.
that smoke is like hanging around from fireworks or something.
Crazy. I love it. I love the smell of a good cigar. So I'm like,
but those are some of my favorite. Like, the school says, "Oh, we're against this." It's like, are you really?
Really?
Yeah.
Right. Sure about that?
But I'm not too positive about that one. All right. We've been going an hour, so I want to get to you guys. I want to go give me an offensive MVP, defensive MVP, and an overall record. And your offensive MVP can't be Keelan Russell.
I saw that coming.
Because, I mean, realistically, Alabama, like, if you're going to predict Alabama's going to go 11-1, your offensive MVP is Keelan Russell, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a cop out, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm with you, right? Like, that's an easy one. I can start. I think my offensive MVP is going to be Coleman Williams.
Okay.
I think that with a year, I think he had obviously all the hype coming off his freshman season. I think he got a little too much in his head last season. You saw the drops. You saw some of the piece of that. Whether it's the getting married or what, I don't really care. Like, whether it's him figuring out his personal life, whether it's whatever else is going on, I think I just expect him to have a better season this season. Yeah. And I think having a guy like Sedarian Morgan, having the guy in Latsier Brooks that everyone trusts next to him, also just having a quarterback like Keelan Russell that I trust in throwing the deep ball. As much as Ty, I believe, was a really good quarterback, Ty's deep ball was worse than Jalen Milroe's. I mean, Milroe was not a great quarterback, in my opinion, but he had a great deep ball. And Ty's was not nearly as good. And I think Keelan just throws a better deep ball. So, and I think that's the spot where, because there were a couple of moments where Ty just missed that ball that Ryan, beat the corner on, had the safety, had to step on the safety or whatever. So I think that Ryan's going to be the guy that I have for the offense. And then for the defense, I'm going to go with Bray Hubbard. I think that the step that you saw him take from last season, the Florida State game, we talked about Brooks earlier. Brooks, went in on Bray Hubbard, as did plenty of other people, for his lack of effort in that Florida State game last season. And then what we saw in the next 10 games was nothing short of incredible. Yeah. Like, he was on an absolute tear to finish the season. And in my mind, Bray's just not going to start out the same way he did last season, but I expect him to keep that momentum going. So Bray is who I have as my defensive MVP for the season. And then I'm going to go with 10-2.
Okay. Who are the two losses? If you say LSU, I'm logging off.
No. 1 second. Let me pull up the schedule and I'll tell you. I think it's at home, but that game against Georgia scares me.
Sure.
For good reason. I think it's 2 losses between that stretch of Georgia, A&M, Tennessee, realistically.
That's fair.
Probably 2 of those 3. I don't know which 2, but, probably 2 of those 3. I would love to only lose one of those 3, but realistically, I think that that's a really, really tough 3-game stretch before, and it's also right before your bye week. So it's, you're as unhealthy as you can be, if that makes sense, right? Like your guys are, kind of running on fumes right before the bye week. So that 1, 2, 3 is probably the two of those three is where I would say, and, could be any of them. Faison Brandon, being a true freshman
at Neyland, probably going to
be being a true freshman gives me some hope, but he's also another super hype guy that can make kind of all the throws. And, I generally trust Josh Heupel with quarterbacks. The question mark for them is going to be their defense. Can they stop anything? And so, I mean, but it's a night game. It's going to be a night game in Neyland. So, we beat them 15 years in a row, but it's been our kryptonite the last couple of years. So the question mark is what happens in that game. So, like I said, for me, that's what I would say. Probably two of those three. I don't know that I want to stake the claim of which of those two, but probably two of those three.
That's fair. All right.
What you guys got?
Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, EJ.
All right.
Going to the Wolves, baby.
Offensive MVP. I've been high on him. Y'all been in the chat with me. I've been saying, every other day or every day, I've been saying buy stock right now, and it's Trayshawn Brown on offense. Yeah, it's Trayshawn Brown. I think he's going to bring a lot more to that running back room. I think he's going to push Crowell and Hill to be better. I think it's hard to say because Crowell's got that injury sticking around, and we also have Deer out, and you just keep hearing Trayshawn Brown's name in the practices. I watched the few clips that were able to be posted to Twitter. I mean, he's explosive. He finds the holes probably better than any of the running backs I've seen the past 2 years. I mean, he's just got the power to him. Very awesome find by the staff. So I think he'll be offensive MVP. I think he'll make a splash that nobody's really expecting from him.
I like it.
As for defense, man, I'm trying not to go like big name players like Bray, because obviously Bray's just gonna be a stud, and I want to pick Bray because, man, I'm gonna miss Bray when he's gone. It's gonna be hard to find another guy like him.
Agreed.
I was gonna go QB Reese, but I'm gonna go Luke Metz here because I feel like Luke Metz has jumped over QB Reese in the race lately. I think Metz is gonna. I think he's taken the necessary steps over the summer. You hear Kane Womack raving about him every practice. He's got something awesome to say about Metz. I think he's going to be a really good run stuffer.
I like it.
Good call. What was the record? Did I miss that?
Oh yeah, record. Dude, it's so hard for me to say. I've been saying 10-2, but man, I looked at our schedule last night, and if the team works the way I think it can, if everything connects, I want to say 11-1 because until Georgia can beat us in the regular season, I can't mark that up as a loss for us. Tennessee, we haven't won there in a minute, so that was my one loss. It hurts me to say because I hate Tennessee.
That's fair.
And I don't think A&M improved anything on their offensive side of the ball. They're going to have an awesome defense. Mike Elko's always going to have a great defense. I don't see any. I think they got less improved on the offensive side of the ball. And LSU, Sam Levitt is not going to be good in my opinion. I think he's a Cam Scatterbo merchant. I don't see that team being really good. I got them going like 7-5.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I agree with you there on LSU. I think they're not going to make the playoffs or come close.
All right.
This year. They will at some point.
Yeah. I think it even stays there.
This year, I think, is going to be.
I think it's just too late to put a team together for Lane.
Yeah, agreed.
And Levitt stinks. I don't trust that guy.
I think there's a reason why Levitt was probably like choice like 5 or 6.
Exactly.
Like there were other guys he tried to get, and Levitt was not at the top of that list.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a reason Tennessee turned it down. I mean, he was at Tennessee, and Lane made it a point to go out there and fly to him, and Tennessee just told him go ahead and go. Tennessee wanted him; they probably could have really got him.
That's a good point.
I'd say they wouldn't let him leave if they really. That tells you all you need to know.
That's a really, really good point. All right, Jeff, you want to go or you want me to go?
All right, I'll go ahead and go. So offensive MVP, I'm going to. I'm going to go with the ankle crook, Lottie Brooks. Is
Ooh.
my offensive MVP. My defensive MVP, I think, will be Yanze Pierre. I think he's going to have not the numbers that Will Anderson put up, but I think he's going to have a Will Anderson kind of impact on the other team. Maybe not 100 tackles and 20 sacks, but I mean, disruptive enough for, a lot of guys, you get pressures and you're disrupting the play, but you don't register anything on a stat sheet. So, at the end of the day, you have 3 tackles and a sack, and it doesn't look like you impacted the game. But if you watch the game, you're an impactful player. So I think that's where Pierre is going to be this year. Like I said, not put up Will Anderson numbers, but have a similar kind of impact on the other team that Will Anderson had. And then I think we're going to go 10-2. I think we're going to lose to I think we're going to lose to Tennessee. That's a tough place for a first-year starter to go down there and win a game. That's more of that's not faith in Josh Heupel. I'm not a Heupel guy, but that's just a tough place to go down there and win. A lot of good teams have gone to that place and lost. So now Saban did win 15 in a row against Tennessee, but that's a tough place to go win. So I think we're going to lose to Tennessee, and then I think we're probably going to lose. We're either going to lose to Georgia and Tennessee, I think, or Tennessee and Texas A&M. But I think Tennessee is one of those losses in there. Nobody else. I don't want to say nobody else is a threat because they're all threats. Most of the SEC games are threats, but those are the Tennessee and either Georgia or Texas A&M. I think is where the 2 losses will come, and I think they'll come back to back, and then we'll go on a run to finish out the year.
Back to back. That's a hot take, man.
That's
why I can see it.
Save it for Thursday, dude. God. So I was gonna originally say Trayshawn Brown, and then I was like, maybe Ryan Williams, and then Lottie Brooks, believe it or not. And so in an effort not to repeat what everybody else says, I think Josh Ford, he's not going to realistically be your MVP, but he will be
I thought about that.
An extremely important part of this offense.
I thought about that
in a couple of different ways. Obviously, catching the ball, kind of replacing Josh Cuevas, but also in being that extension of the offensive line when they, 12 personnel, they put him in there in line and stuff like that. So, Josh Ford for sure. On the defensive side of the ball, I was going to say, Yanze Pierre. And Jeff snatched that one. I think Devin Tompkins.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, Devin Tompkins. Everything we're hearing out of fall camp is he's on the up and up. I like what Kane Womack will be able to do with him. Tompkins, he's going to traditionally play that bandit role, but they'll be able to move him around a good bit and do different things with him. I think when we talk about replacing some of that production we lost, and I know a lot of people were upset about losing 5-star guys to the transfer portal, but at this point in time, you look at it as production. We didn't lose a ton of production to the transfer portal. I think Devin Tompkins is a guy who can blow those numbers out of the water this year with a lot of the hype we're hearing about that defensive line. So, and then I'm with EJ, man. I think Alabama goes 11-1. I could see them losing to Georgia at home. Absolutely could see that, and then kind of going on a tear. And then Jeff, I could see them losing again, to Tennessee at nighttime. That's kind of been a trend for a while. But if I had to pick a game they were going to lose, I hate to have them lose a home game, but I would say a close one to Georgia potentially. Georgia hasn't beat Alabama in the regular season in such a long time. It's bound to happen at some point in time. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and so a couple of things that y'all mentioned there that I think is really important. One, I took out Keelan, and realistically, if this team has the success we have, he's probably your offensive MVP, and I think we all know it. So, like, Josh Ford, I think is completely valid in that's what I was going for. Like, somebody that's going to have an impact that maybe, isn't, because, again, if this offense has the success that we assume they're going to have, the answer is Keelan Russell, right? Like, we talked about him on the show for a reason and, what he's going to be able to do. Because at the end of the day, part of the reason he won the job is his ability to do things with the football. Good shit happens, as they said. So that I fully expect that to be the case. And my idea of the 5-star, losing 5 stars to the portal is if I talk about you in your high school recruiting ranking, then maybe you didn't have a huge impact on the football field. If I'm not saying all SEC, if I'm not saying, Bednarik winner, if I'm saying, oh, this guy that used to people think may have been good,
yeah,
Anthony Alfano, do we want to go down the list of former 5 stars in Alabama recruited that aren't doing a whole lot right now? There's a laundry list of them.
Ben Davis.
That's field a team with 5-star duds.
That's not to say those guys are, at that level of duds, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? If I'm talking about your high school recruiting rankings, then there's a little bit of a problem here. Because at the end of the day, Tompkins did more than the guy who he's replacing, right? His numbers are comparable in a more limited role than what we, even had. So I'm not really of the mindset that I'm concerned about what we lost from that standpoint.
No.
That's not a huge one to me. But that is a big one. And then the other thing that I would say is the Tennessee game, and I said 2 losses. The Tennessee game is one that's a big question to me because we're both going to be starting first-time starters in that game. Yeah. They will have started a few games, but they're not going to be, a full season under their belt type starters. We will have the guy who's played more college football, having an extra season under his belt, but neither one of them are going to be super seasoned guys. The question mark in that game may come down to who makes less mistakes, right? From a quarterback perspective, right? Because neither one of us are starting that guy that you feel confident absolutely 100% is going to go under the lights in a huge rivalry game and going to be nails. But whoever can do it is going to be the guy. And I could make the argument that having Georgia the game before is going to be a benefit to us because Keelan's going to have to do it in the lights in Bryant-Denny Stadium one game before he has to do it in the lights in Neyland.
Yeah, and Tennessee gets Texas 3 weeks before? Yeah, 3 weeks before that game. So, realistically, both of those teams could walk in there with 1 loss. And so, and then 2 losses, you're kind of on the line. 3 losses could potentially have you completely out of the playoffs. So there'll be a lot at stake in Neyland Stadium, potentially a lot.
Absolutely. And I think that, there's a lot of question marks when you look at this season. I would argue that Alabama is in a great position. The defense is in as good a spot as it's been in quite some time. I think the defense is better today than it was the last few years under Saban. I really believe in Womack's defense. Obviously, I understand some of the criticisms that people had early season with his defense last season, but I thought that it really came into its own as the season went on. And I expect that this season we're not going to have those same growing pains in the first couple of games that we had last season. And then, Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb, when they have the quarterback that is healthy, that can be in their system, I'm of the mindset they're going to have a 4,000-yard passer. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
At a certain point, they're a coaching staff that has a 4,000-yard passer.
It makes sense. Yeah. And
until they prove to me they're not that guy, I'm just going to go with it because their quarterback evaluation of talent is off the charts. Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, I have a question that I find really funny. Do you guys think that the quarterback battle of oh my gosh, my mind just went blank. Elijah Haven versus Trent Seaborn is going to feed families?
Yes. Yes, I did.
You're forgetting the name to throw in
y'all
there.
Thought this was a big quarterback battle. Trent Seaborn versus Elijah Haven is going to feed families.
Just wait. And I'll tell you, Jeff and I have sat down with both of those kids and interviewed them on the channel. Neither one of them are backing down and shying away from that competition. Neither.
Hey,
no.
Neither you think Jet Tamala is going to back down from that either?
No, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say Jet.
Cast Jet out of that combo. I mean, that guy's going to be right in that mix.
It made me happy to see that Jet made big steps this summer. I mean, there was talks he wasn't even over Colwyn, and then all of a sudden they come to fall camp. He took over. He took back QB3.
That guy's got something in him.
That kid's impressive, man. He's
Impressive.
very, very impressive.
Mindset.
Hey,
Yeah,
Moon Rocka, I know I'm projecting, but Trent Seaborn has been if you've been in this state, I live about 15, 20 minutes from where he goes to high school. If you've been in this state for any length of time, he's been playing high school football in Bryant Denny Stadium since he was an 8th grader, leading Thompson to state titles.
Yeah,
he's as committed to Alabama as anybody in the country. There's a 0% chance he's flipping. Elijah Haven, somebody else may try to throw money at him, but there is a 0% chance Trent Seaborn is flipping. I will put everything on it.
Yeah. One of those guys will potentially transfer out at some point in time, but I don't think either one of them are going to flip. I think they'll both they're both pretty locked in. Elijah's family, when he talked to us, he talked about that a little bit. Like that Bama's where they want him to be. It's where they feel comfortable. I think, I don't want to speak for him, but I think both young men, it's a faith-led decision. I know it is for Trent for sure. I can't remember with Elijah, but so yeah, I think both of them end up signing with Alabama. It's a matter of who ends up staying at Alabama long term. You'll lose potentially one of them.
Oh, and speaking of faith led, I will say it here. I don't know if we're supposed to announce it, but I'll say it. If anybody's in Tuscaloosa and wants to see the football team, Sunday at 5:00 at Calvary, they're going to have their annual Squad Sunday. The football team will be in. The football team's in for worship, and then they give out the Charlie Compton Award for faith and leadership on and off the field. So I'm usually in attendance for that. I'm actually going to be traveling this Sunday, so I'm going to be at some of the earlier services. I'm not going to be at the 5:00 one, but if you are interested and you're in town, 5:00 Calvary on Sunday. It's the one in the shadow of the stadium. They will be having that. It's a chance to. They're there for church, so you're not there to pester them and stuff like that. But it is really, really cool to see. I know last year I got to see Jeremy Holden, Coach Shep's kids and stuff, and it's just you're seeing them outside of the football jerseys and outside of the normal atmosphere, and it's a really, really cool event. So if you have a chance, I definitely would recommend it. It's a really, really cool thing to see, and Pastor Will is awesome at Calvary. So if y'all get a chance, feel free to swing by Sunday at 5. But I know we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. I really appreciate you boys. Obviously, I know a lot of people here subscribe to y'all's channel, but if y'all are not, we got the Waaaay Offsides with Jeff and Cotton. We got Way Off Base, the new baseball channel that is going underway. Obviously, we've got our big boy that's going absolutely crazy with the Reds right now that I expect to be called up sooner rather than later. But super excited. Obviously, we're going to have them on the channel a little bit more here during football season. I will be joining them for some of the post-game recaps as I am available, and then I'll probably be over on their channel during basketball season. So we've got a ton of stuff here upcoming. I know all of our basketball people keep asking me. I promise I will put stuff out as soon as something happens, but I'm really appreciate them for joining.
You need content to put out, and there's not a ton of basketball content out there, right?
So you guys got anything y'all need?
Well, I just want to say we appreciate both of you guys. I know Jeff and I have wanted to kind of expand the network into basketball and other sports for a while now. And you guys were both very enthusiastic about jumping in and getting this thing rolling and expanding Waaaay Offsides with us. So thank you both.
Appreciate you guys.
And of course, Owen, thank you for having us on, man.
I appreciate the opportunity, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Owen, for having us
on
too.
And hey, y'all, I appreciate you too, Stacy. I see Stacy in the chat. As he said, there's tons of basketball, there's tons of creators that cover Alabama. And y'all see me going at people on Twitter. That's not me against Alabama creators. That's me against a Alabama creator.
Keep doing it.
Don't get that twisted. I have no problem with other people. I'm friends with a lot of them.
Guys, and if you're going to use AI, check the spelling afterwards.
Check the spelling and understand that we all talk to each other. Most of us are friends.
Yeah.
So really appreciate everybody for joining. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Roll Tide.